Okay, should I start the beloved introduction, or you want to start the introduction? Yeah.
No, no, go for it. Go for it.
All
I,
right.
I gave I gave a brief synopsis to my chat, but like now you yeah, finish it.
All right. So I woke up one day and I was like, man, I love scary stories, cryptids, and all this very, very, very much. Then I was like, hold on, why don't I do a beloved talk show with like two of my other buddies? Why? Because like I haven't seen any talk show talk about, like just the broad topic of like cryptids or scary stories or whatever properly. They always have like YouTube channel. I mean, they exist. I wouldn't doubt that much, but I'm saying they never had like, a gang. It's usually like one person on a YouTube video explaining the whole thing. So I was like, why not just start a like small talk show on this with three of us beloved buddies? Um, I am gonna say, how often we do this is going to depend on my two wonderful, wonderful friends right here. But we will try to do it every now and again if possible. Anything you want to add, Frog? Hold on, wait a second. I realize they can't hear you. I realize they cannot hear you. Bro, I was looking at my thing and it's like, wait, how did I forget that? How did I forget that? Hold on. Video cap. Bro, nothing is going well. Okay,
It's
Discord.
okay. It's okay. We work through it. It'll all be fine.
It'll all be a-okay. Let's see. Let's see. Please blow up Discord. Homie, why is Discord? Okay, there it is. Okay, talk.
Please.
Okay, they can hear you now. Okay.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so basically, I've been a fan of cryptids ever since I was a wee little guy, and I don't know, I always really liked reading over like the occult and like things like that were like more like common knowledge, like Bigfoot and like Mothman and like the Jersey Devil and stuff. I actually let me go ahead and dial back a little bit. There used to be this show on Animal Planet called Lost Tapes, and I absolutely loved that show. It was cheesy. It was like in the style of like found footage, but they just had these. Every episode was about like a different cryptid, and it was so unbelievable. But it was also just so cheesy and campy, and I loved it. But it was like these live action, like kind of found footage, like pseudo horror thriller kind of shows or kind of episodes, and dude, I think that kind of is what sparked my love for cryptids. So I started getting a bunch of books and started researching it a lot. And yeah, I mean, I found you all, and we all have that love for just like the occult and cryptozoology. It seems.
Yeah.
Would you say that the videos was it's not supernatural level, but like it's at least like Blair Witch, something like that? What do you say?
Yeah, pretty similar. Like they I don't know, like one of the episodes might be about like the Wendigo, and another one might be about like a vampire or so not all of them are necessarily like cryptids in the traditional sense, but all of them are
Hmm.
like found footage of people's accounts with unexplainable creatures, I suppose is the best way to put it. Um and I mean by definition, I mean cryptids, the study of cryptozoology is just the study of creatures not yet confirmed to exist by science, you know? So
Yeah, I
it's
was gonna say like using the term cryptid, like we all have like our preconceived like list of what we consider to be cryptids, right? Like you've got your Mothman, um, Sasquatch, Jersey Devil, things like that that are really super well known. I think like the Loch Ness monster would also fall under that, but like, but it's not just like those main headliners that
right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Skinwalkers, Wendigo, those as
I mean,
well.
the most common one that you do see like everyone talking about is usually a mimic or a skinwalker. Like everyone has like some degree of knowledge, or they just look at it and just be like, "Oh, it's probably not real because like, bro, it sounds ridiculous." and where you could argue that it is indeed sound ridiculous. At the same time, if like ancient civilizations and a bunch of people mentioned it, like it has to be true to a degree. It has to be true.
There's at least something there. Whether it's specifically what they saw or what they say they saw, you know, that's a different story. But like there's obviously something.
Yeah.
That may or may
Like,
not be
something was
explained. Yeah.
Yeah. At least not easily.
So who wants to go off from here?
Well,
Because I know
do we maybe want to do like a little, I guess we could even just say like what our topics are, and then we'll go from there.
I mean,
Okay.
That
yeah.
way people know what they're in for.
Yeah.
So you want to start this off, Frog? Because you sound pretty eager. You sound...
Sure. I
Yeah,
you know me. I'm always an eager guy. No, but, yeah. So today I have researched a certain cryptid that is a bit local compared to some of the other cryptids. A lot of other cryptids will sometimes migrate a little bit, at least out of the city that they were originate in. But this cryptid doesn't have a whole lot of sightings outside of its outside of the city that it kind of was, reportedly seen in. The
Mhm.
cryptid that I have researched today is known as the Loveland Frog, otherwise known as the Loveland Frogman. It resides in little old Loveland, Ohio. I believe the population nowadays is about 13,000 people, but around 1955 is whenever this thing was first seen. And at that time, there's only a population of about 1,288 people in Loveland, Ohio. This to kind of paint a picture, let me paint a picture. The year is 1955 in the small town of Loveland, Ohio, with a population of around, I said, about 1,288 people.
Mhm.
Late into the night, a businessman is driving by a lake just down the road from a popular storefront in the town known simply as the Maxon's Barber Shop. Now, there are multiple stories involving what this man saw on this fateful night. The first is that this man was said to have seen three strange figures. They were described to be about 3 to 4 feet tall, amphibious-looking creatures with leathery green skin and frog-like heads. When the man stopped to take a look at the three creatures, they quickly darted into the nearby river and vanished. The second claim was that the man's story involved finding the three creatures under a poorly lit bridge, and that one of the three creatures was actually holding what looked to be a wand over its head, and it would release a shower of sparks.
So like a sparkler?
Like spot,
Yeah,
yeah.
almost like a giant frogman holding a sparkler. Yeah, that's
Hold on,
exactly
hold
what
on,
it
That
hold
sounds
on.
like to me.
To
Yeah.
take a step back, what year was this when that sparkler happened?
That was 1955.
Didn't
So no,
sparklers get?
they had sparklers.
I don't think not that type. I mean that should have like I
I'm
could have
sure they
sworn
did.
that.
No, this happened in America. You're telling me in the 50s in America they weren't dishing out fireworks?
I would say
I
fireworks, but
don't
not
believe it.
sparklers though.
When
You
did
wouldn't say sparklers
fireworks
though.
come out?
I
Let me
mean,
see.
Well, no, they described it. They described it as a wand firing sparks.
Right.
But like, I don't know. To me, that sounds like a sparkler, and I feel like that's not super complex technology to find a way to make the gunpowder be sparkly. You know?
Yeah. I wonder if the frogs just happened to stumble across like a fireworks stand. They're just like, hey, look at this, check this.
okay, no, I take that back. The sparkler came out basically in the 7th century. Yeah, no, this thing it been around. Okay. It just didn't seem believable to me. It's like, ain't no way, like, there's some random thing under the bridge just writing a flat out sparkler.
I know that because I know China has been experimenting with gunpowder for like forever.
I mean, I know, like, I know them and, like, Japan has been for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Kitty, we are doing a podcast where we're discussing cryptids. We all have researched a different cryptid to essentially bring to the table and discuss. Right now, I am discussing the Loveland Frogman from Loveland, Ohio. And basically, what we're talking about right now is there's a story involving a businessman that claimed to have seen the thing first in 1955, and there was about three of them. And one of the stories goes that he basically saw the three under a poorly lit bridge, and one of them was holding what looked like a wand that was firing sparks. So we're all discussing if that was like sparklers. Didn't China invent the first guns or something? Yeah,
I'm
maybe. I don't know. I know they
I
use a lot of gunpowder.
I mean, the first gun was the British, I'm pretty sure, if I'm
I
not mistaken.
I don't know much about like gun history. Shocking. But definitely, like I said, for 1955, I mean, for them to be
That would be,
for them to have seen that, I mean, I can also understand why you wouldn't like immediately say that like, oh, you know, that is a sparkler. Like I could see that not being their first thought, especially like, oh, weird creature. But definitely, to me, not to discredit the mysteriousness of the frog.
therefore created the first cannon. Okay.
It still could have been a frogman who found a sparkler and was like, oh, what this is shiny.
But it definitely does sound like it could easily just be a sparkler. I mean, it could have
I
been like
mean,
another person that found a sparkler.
I
or
mean,
maybe
what
it
if
is a
it's
frogman.
what if it was dynamite? Like, what if it was dynamite?
It was dynamite? That would
You
be,
just see like a
horrifying.
sparkling dynamite under the bridge. Just
I mean,
bro.
think about it for a second. If you ran into a group of three giant frog humanoids and they
Mhm.
just all stared at you under a dimly lit bridge at like 1 a.m. or whatever time this was, and you just like look over at them in horror, and one of them's holding a sparkler. I mean,
Mhm.
one of them could literally speak perfect English to you and say, "No one will ever believe you," and no matter what you said, would not change the
I
story.
mean, couldn't you also debate that a dog can do that? Like if a dog just like, oh, no one would ever believe you and just never talk again.
That's true. Yeah.
Like
There's a lot that could be because again with the phew. Sorry.
it's all
Having
good.
so much problems forming thoughts.
It's all
It is
good.
it is all part of the frog's master plan. Yeah, they gotta confuse you with the sparkler wands and stuff. The frog over
For the frogs to go returns, yes.
So to kind of go on that, do we want to take turns bouncing back and forth parts of our story, or should I just go through this
Oh,
whole thing that I
I
have?
mean, you.
Sorry. So what I had originally meant is just like saying
No, you're
just the thing that
The
you were gonna talk
topic.
about, and then we'd circle all the way around.
Yeah,
But
you,
no, it's
so
okay.
confused.
Like I said,
You-
we're kind of this is all like rift right now. They didn't have much time to really
I mean,
plan
it.
stuff.
So
It's okay.
for me, right? I feel like it makes it
Yeah.
organized too. So like
Mhm.
you might as well finish yours, and everybody's in.
yeah,
Like
keep going.
we have like one viewer who's like our wonderful friend who's thinking what topics we pick, but you got to keep them guessing. Like you might as well finish the story
Yeah,
and
Exactly.
like have them be eager to hear what we got to say.
I see. Okay.
Duke, that is
So
not a cryptid. Everyone knows that one.
gun.
I mean, it could be cryptid if you go to a certain island. Well, like go to some islands. Like go to like a foreign place where there's no technology, hand like one person a high technical weapon and see what they do with it. It's like going back in time and
like-
giving the caveman a flat out like Dr. Pepper.
I mean, that's true, and I mean, Duke, you do have a good point that everyone knows Bigfoot, but we can prove the existence of guns. That gets done on a regular basis.
Bigfoot with a gun.
Bigfoot. with
Okay,
that.
there you go. Now that's a valid cryptid. Okay, good job.
Just claps. Just pa 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 pa. But
That's for the Duke.
just that's for the dude. Oh,
Alright.
okay.
So Dude, I'm
Please
sorry, I'm,
continue,
laughing.
Please
No,
continue.
you're good. I'm honestly laughing so much. I think I'm just imagining like the little fucking dudes with like holding the sparkler, and they're just like, "Whoa!" Just like
You walk down the dark alleyway, you look down the bridge, and you just see three, like, you can't see these three beings, you just see a spout, a sparkler, and just like, huh, I don't think I should go down there. I don't think I can. I don't think I should go.
So That was 1955. You could argue, based off of the seemingly already developed holes in the story, such as the origin to the claim, that maybe there is no giant frog creatures, that maybe the businessman themselves never even existed. But this would not be the last time, unfortunately, the strange reportings were made among the residents of Loveland, Ohio, involving these creatures. Skipping forward to 1972, March 3rd at approximately 1 in the morning, Loveland police officer by the name of Ray Shockey was really interesting name, by the way, Ray Shockey. That sounds made up. Apparently it's real.
It does.
Ray Shockey was driving near the Totes Boot Factory in the Little Miami River when he saw a singular large, what he recalled as being grayish green and amphibious looking creature by the side of the Little Miami River. When he stopped to get a better look at what he saw, it looked to be have like frog-like features and a head to match. It held, and yet again, a wand that emitted sparks and quickly bolted into the river when spotted. 2 weeks later, a similar claim was made by another unnamed officer, saying that a large frog-like creature standing about 3 to 5 feet tall was spotted in the same area mentioned by the officer prior. Now, this is going to sound really crazy, because I'm like, oh my gosh, his first reaction. This officer claimed to have fired on the creature, which he then claimed, which he then claimed later to have been nothing more than a large tailless iguana.
Bruh.
On whatever
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Hold on. Sorry. No, we need to back up. We need to scooch on back for a second.
Yeah.
How do you mistake a man frog? So presumably, right, man-sized.
Yeah.
For a tailless iguana, those are not the
Hold
same.
on. If I can hop onto that. If I can hop onto that, iguanas do look like they're like humanoids, to be honest. And plus, it's Ohio. Everything be going on in Ohio.
Iguanas don't look humanoid? Wait, okay, no. Hang on. We're all on the same page of what an iguana is, right? Like, please tell me that we are.
No, I think Vel has a point. I don't really understand how you can mistake a giant humanoid frog for an iguana. I do know iguanas grow pretty big. Oh, I mean, at the very least, but and like maybe I don't know, dude. It would have to be just the right angle. It just seems a little weird.
I mean, it depends on the time of day too, and how tired they are. You do realize that some phenomenon does happen in like nighttime, and you tend to, go a little crazy.
Yeah. The officer that fired on this tailless iguana, there are some disputes as to whether they saw anything at all and just fabricated the entire story. I mean, this was 2 weeks after the previous officer. Maybe they were just trying to kind of contribute to the story and everything, keep the story going, and then later just confess to it. Maybe they fabricated the whole thing. There's also some suspicion based on the inconsistencies in his story that if he didn't fabricate it, perhaps he's trying to hide something. There's like a whole level of conspiracy there, but a lot of it's just speculation. At the end of the day, though, it's like, I mean, I agree with Vel. I don't know how you could confuse a large tailless iguana with a humanoid frog creature. That doesn't add up to me. But here's the interesting thing about that. Whenever people investigated the railing that this quote unquote frog or tailless iguana had supposedly vaulted over, they actually saw indentations in the guardrails and almost like what looked like scratches. So it does look like something happened there, but no body was ever found. So even if that was a large tailless iguana, it doesn't look like the claims actually back that.
I mean, they either probably getting silence or they're just like, maybe I shouldn't have fed into this delusion.
Right. It's pretty interesting though, and there's been several more accounts by like distressed civilians and whatnot that began to take off from this point. After the events of the 1955 sighting and then 2 events in 1972, the events started skyrocketing. A lot of these were obviously hoax and people like trying to basically be like, oh man, the Loveland frog, it's real, and a lot of people were really getting in on it and trying to really play it up. So a lot of those can easily be dismissed. There are still some that are unconfirmed. But a really interesting one is we flash forward now to the far more recent year, being 2016.
We have smartphones. You can take pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
The smartphones.
So 2016, the reason that there's a credible, not really credible, but at least like kind of makes
More-
you scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you some thought is that a certain mobile game at the time was pretty popular, and that was Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I
Pokemon
was
Go
about
is
to say
pretty popular.
2016.
Oh,
Everyone was out and
I mean,
about, walking off bridges, getting hit by cars. Yeah.
Yup.
they're
People were
jumping
doing
in
all sorts of
manholes,
crazy stuff.
finding themselves
Yup.
in police stations. Yeah.
So essentially, the year's 2016. Pokemon Go is at its all-time popularity. It just released earlier this year. This is specifically, I want to say August is whenever this happened. I actually forgot to put that down, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, and I'm going to say in August of 2016. There's a couple that are walking along and playing Pokemon Go. When out the corner of their eye, the partner named Sam looks over and he sees what looks like, again, a giant frog-like creature near the water. And he was quoted and put on the news saying, "We saw a huge frog near the water, not in the game. This was an actual giant human-sized frog," quoted Sam.
Shout out
At
to
this
Sam.
point,
Shout out to
yeah,
Sam,
exactly.
yeah.
Shout out to Sam. Funny enough, it's so funny because they quoted Sam, even though they said both Sam and his partner saw it, but they just don't mention the partner in any other detail.
What if they're
It's
just
like
like,
Sam and this random partner.
what if it's just like, oh, he just like plays the stereotype of I'm not that important. I don't want to be the main character. Bros probably think like he was in a horror movie for a second. It's like, bro, all side characters die. I'm not gonna be part of that.
um yeah, but he saw this image, or he saw this frog, and you can even find some images of it. Whether or not it is believable is a different story, but hold on, let's see. Caught on camera. I'm gonna try and find an image real quick. Yeah,
All
I
right.
found it.
All right. Let's
I found
go.
Okay, so you're gonna love this. Do you want me to send it in the Discord?
Yeah, just send it in
Yeah,
Discord.
send
I
it.
can open it up.
Okay,
I can bring it onto stream.
there you go. It's kind of
Okay,
funny.
like I'm looking at this and it's like, bro, that looks like that could have been anybody. That looked like dang
It could've
Lingo
been
Bird.
anything.
That
Could've
could
been
have
a
been
lovely
like,
frog, even.
bro.
Could've been a tailless iguana.
Well, okay, cool. We can do that.
Hold
Sure.
on, what is this? This is the image.
Look at
You
that.
can see the.
You have to play legally distinct X Files as we zoom in.
Okay, hang on. This didn't work. Give me a second. I'm trying to
Oh no. I can
make this better.
I can zoom in on it too and recapture it.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I got this. We're just gonna take. I'll make that better.
I like how you
I
name it
didn't
just
almost
image.
get hit by a car. Don't.
Okay, I have this on
I just
chat.
spent a lot
This
of time
is
outside.
this is what it looks like. I'm gonna put this right here.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up in my chat as well. Just give me a second. There we go. That's better.
This is what it looks like,
Right.
and
I'll put it right here. Here's the guy. Here's the little guy.
like anyone can look at this and just go, man, that looks like a man in a Duolingo costume who just jumped in a
Yeah.
lake.
Is it just me, or does that really look like a tailless iguana over there?
So again, I'm gonna say this is not this here. This is not an iguana. This is not even close to any
I
iguanas.
don't hold on. I'm like putting it as big as I can on screen so everyone can see it in all its glory, and it does not look like a iguana. Like it literally looks like either a Duolingo bird or someone in a costume, and the light just reflects off the eyes. That's literally what it looks like. Like I'm
Some
not even
people
gonna.
Yeah.
Some people have said that it looks like a Halloween prop that someone put lights on.
Someone said frog
Yeah.
face reveal.
Frog face reveal. Yeah, that's me. That's me going through my kitchen looking for cheese at 3 a.m.
Right.
Did you finish your lessons?
Did you finish your lesson?
Dude, when okay, for real, the like little notification on your phone from Duolingo, like somebody gets mad at you. It looks scary. I don't like it.
Bro,
It's
you miss
glowing
like one
red,
day.
not bright.
You miss like one day, and he just goes off. Be like, huh, that's a nice family tree you have. It'd be pretty unfortunate if it disappears. And it's just like, bro, what?
I have 2 more very important images for you on this topic, and one of them Actually, both of them are art that I made just by cropping out for context, I did not draw the frog. I'm not going to take credit for the frog. I just simply cropped them out of an image and put them into my amazing masterpiece you're about to see. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
don't worry. I am grabbing that for us to see on
I'm
screen
naming
as
it
well. Give
as
me just
terribly
a
as I
second.
can.
Here we go. Let me.
This is my artist
We're gonna
of how the entire transaction went down.
make this one extra big. You can't see me, but that's okay.
This is what it looks like.
As you can see, in the top left corner is how the scene starts, where the frog is just big chilling, enjoying his sparkler, as we've all called it. He's like, wow, this is amazing. I love being a frog. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun being a frog and doing frog things like eating bugs and sitting on a log. And then someone says, yo, is that a frog? Get it. Pew, pew, pew. And then those are like supposed to be bullets. And stuff. I'm gonna head out.
Those are bullets, just I put it head out, just maybe it's not worth it. Just bro.
That is essentially how that went down. And then I have one final image, and it is kind of we never knew where the frog really went after that. You know, it just kind of disappeared for a very, very long time. So I think I know where it went. Hold
you
on.
think? And if you show me a COD map, I would believe it.
Oh no! I won't show you. I wouldn't do that. What? But I will show you where I think he's up to now. Hold on.
Everyone has some type of beef with Ohio.
Yeah. Here's the final image.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm not surprised.
Hang on. Hey.
I ain't surprised.
I got you.
The frogman was shocked he missed his Spanish lessons. No.
Now he be gaming.
Nah, I be
But that's just
gaming.
speculation.
Look, he's
Allegedly.
they're a squirrel girl main.
Yeah, he is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, look at his headphones too. I thought those fit.
Those are pretty solid.
The freeze. I knew the truth was frog was the frog man. Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much my research on the Loveland frog. There's not a whole lot of details on him. A few sightings here and there, and those are probably the most notable. But he's known to carry a sparkler for some reason.
Carries a sparkler.
Sparklers are fun, you know.
Yeah.
He's trying to write his name real quick.
Yeah.
He's just trying to go hocus pocus. He's just trying to go hocus pocus. Dude.
Nothing wrong with grabbing a sparkler and going to town, especially from Frogland.
Yeah.
Froggo. He did. I swear, he's going to share a pumpkin cryptid if I was gonna. No, you're so far off, green villain.
Dude, that's not a bad guess considering Frog came here with a frog, right? So, I can understand where your thought process is. Sadly, though, if that is what you're hoping for, you will be disappointed.
Dude.
But Nishi, do you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
I can go next. Now, so my interesting case, because I do have experience with this myself. This is more as a phenomenon than an actual being.
I'm not
sure. We're not talking about height either. So, I'm not going to say it right away. I am going to start with the date. It's April 12th, 2001, a midnight talk show having, talks about cryptids and stuff, and a topic about some shadowy figures going around in someone's, particular vision, just, on the very edge of their vision, or, sometimes you just see them around, also known as the shadow people. And yes, I picked my topic on the shadow people. They go by multiple things. They go by Walking Sam, Dark Watchers, Black Mist people, or even Hat Man, which Hat Man is a very, very interesting case, but we will go over that in a bit. So, during the talk show, the main host, which I kind of forgot his name, but we don't need to worry about that. He was pretending to be a native. And, because a lot of stuff, phenomenon like this is usually go back to, native tribes, usually. Which is surprising because, like I said, first time Shadow People was mentioned was 2001. No one really got too deep in the topic. It's more as people just ignored it and just pretend that, hey, it's not there. Now, of course, it's at the same time, it's also hard to define what type of being it is because it's not defined as good, nor is it defined as bad. They're more as, like I said, dark watchers, just there watching you. Um,
Thank you for the bits, Fang. Have a good sleep.
Now so unlike some people who say like they're from Middle Eastern and that there a lot of like history and a lot of cultures are connected to these people one way or another. As like you can see some drawings and you see like their mention,
Exactly.
which it doesn't seem like they're a single entity, more as like a bunch of like groups of it.
So there's like several of them then.
Yeah,
It's
like
not just
seven.
one.
Like it's because like there's some cases where I am gonna go based on Reddit. There are some people mentioning that they seen like one. Sometimes they see one small or big. Sometimes it has a hat. Sometimes it doesn't. Or they see two. It literally depends. It's usually like fairies, and to a degree, I feel like it's true because like there's no way that many people can like mention the same thing. Plus, I kind of experience it myself, so to a degree, I highly believe in it.
Right. So what if you don't mind me asking, what was your story and experience with the shadow people?
So, all jokes aside, I believe it was 2014. I'm like what? I'm like 23 right now.
Mhm.
I don't remember what age I was. I was like around like 14, 15. Um,
Right.
I was in my babysitter house. It's so to give you a picture, it was a very big house. It's like one of those how did I describe it? You know the house from Conjuring 1?
Yeah.
Like it was like a house like that, but a little smaller. And we didn't really have bedrooms. I kind of slept on the living room on floor. And
Right.
this is important. So it was at night. It was around. I went to bed super late actually that day. It was like 2 a.m. I laid down.
Mhm.
I woke up at like 5 in the morning, and it's still super dark because the area that I was in, it was dark until like 8 to 9, and I when I woke up right at like that time, I felt frozen. I couldn't move. And I can move my fingers to a degree, I just couldn't move. And for some reason, my eyes kept darting back to the window. And it's like the window was growing, like it was like a light going through the window. And I see two figures, one really tall figure and another one was short. And because like in the area that I'm in, there's nothing outside, and especially in the front
Right.
yard, there's almost nothing. So like it wouldn't make sense there was items on the window. It's like okay, maybe it's from the distance, but it seemed like they were moving slowly, and one of them looked like a silhouette of a scarecrow, which also threw me completely off guard. It also
Right.
gives me a little intimidating. Why I do have like a tiny fear of scarecrows. I don't really like scarecrows, but it had a silhouette of a scarecrow and a big man, and they're just walking by, like pacing around the window back and forth. And this all feels real. Like I can hear my breathing, I can hear my heart beating. Bro, let me tell you, my heart was beating crazy. I don't think I ever had my heart beat as much as I ran track. But it was, oh boy. Um, and it felt surreal, and I was like, maybe it's just my imagination, and I couldn't close my eyes. It felt like something was forcing it to stay open, and I couldn't look anywhere else but that window. And I had a big sense of dread as if something was going to happen. And last thing I remember, the thing slammed towards the window, and I woke up, and it was like 8 because I wasn't actually awake the whole time.
Right. So it almost sounds kind of similar to like some of the symptoms of like sleep paralysis, but you said that you like lost track of time as well. Like it was
Yeah, it was like around like 4 or 5 when I had this, but then like I
right.
woke up again. Like it didn't feel like a dream. It felt like way too real to be a simple dream because like the TV in the front of me was missing, and a couple of things were just gone. It just felt like I don't know if it was there, but it felt like my eyes were so focused on the window I just couldn't see anything else.
Right.
Of course, I do have a second experience with sleep paralysis, but that's for another day.
Mhm.
But this was like in 2014, like bro, it was an experience. Like it stayed with me for the longest. And no, yes, Seek, I guess it did drop, but last I checked, they didn't own a scarecrow. That's the thing. They didn't own a scarecrow, so where did it come from? But
Yeah, that is horrifying, dude. And you because you said you lived out in like the middle of nowhere, where like it wouldn't have made sense that anyone was over there. You didn't really have
like
neighbors or anything.
my so like at the time it was my babysitter house. It wasn't really like
Mhm.
my house,
Oh, that's
but
right.
their house was like in the middle of nowhere. Like outside was clean, other than the greenhouse. The greenhouse was a mess, but like
Right.
everywhere else was like perfectly clean. There was nothing in the front yard. There wasn't even a tree in the front yard. So it's like I'm that I spent that entire day like thinking just like there's nothing in the front yard. I don't think a person could have walked by because like it's a near middle of like nowhere. It wouldn't make
Mhm.
sense. And nothing was broken into. The window didn't look like there was a forced entry either. So it's like I sit there and think about it occasionally. Um, of course, there are some other people who had experiences, but they never mentioned an experience as hard as this one that I had.
Right.
Because sometimes they'd be like, oh,
Makes sense.
I see them like down the stairs, or sometimes in like abandoned places, which, to be honest, when we go to abandoned place, you know, again, Nietzsche the crow confirm. No, I'm not a crow. Leave me
Fucking
alone.
Crocat Nietzsche.
Give me the beak at this point. But there've been rumors because like even in paranormal investigations, authors and then just believers, they believe that they're mostly harmless and they just feed on fear and that or any adrenaline spike at that. Like anything that can like make your heart beat fast, they usually feed on, which there have been rumors of them being connected to jinns, deogens.
Ooh.
Some people can like put them as Deogen. I wouldn't put them in that level because Deogens are a little more active than like them, in like my
Mhm.
opinion. Now,
Right.
there have been cases where people felt like they were getting choked by the shadow people. Others being, oh, they're completely harmless. I mostly believe they're harmless. That's just my like solid opinion.
Right.
Because like if
So
they,
do you think that that goes for all of them, or do you think there's a few outliers that might be considered malicious?
I mean, I would believe they're like. So I look at life like this. There's always an exception to the rules to everything. There's always that one special case, of course, right? Where it doesn't really follow the rules. And I feel to a degree that is true for the supernatural. Like I wouldn't like, be surprised if there is an outlier. It wouldn't be
Right.
too like unbelievable. Like I said, there is one particular shadow person known as the Hat Man, which as the name suggests, he has a hat, like LOL.
Right.
So this thing dates back to the late 2000s, and a lot of people notice this man, but at the same time, a lot of people also associate with this man with sleep paralysis and abuse of medication because they always see this man during said effects. Which, it's also the same for sleep deprivation because sleep deprivation do affect, like, your mental quite a bit.
Right.
So, like,
So
go on. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, my bad. No, you're
No,
good. You're
no, it's
good.
all good.
So I was kind of thinking. Uh, you mentioned that the Hat Man kind of shows up usually whenever people are abusing medication or sleep deprived. Is the Hat Man known to to do anything malicious, or does he simply just watch people? Because I wonder if it's almost like maybe a way of like people who aren't taking care of them. You know, what I mean, like maybe they appeal
Yeah,
specifically to people who aren't taking care of
which
themselves properly.
yeah, that is a good point because there's been one story that I read on like some foreign page, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw him just on the edge, just standing there, not doing anything." And it's like, okay, they are known as Dark Watchers. And then there's like a special case where it's, oh, what? Yeah, there's like one case where he's like, like flat out giving me those hands. And it's like, huh? And, of course I didn't believe this story because the person sounded like, they're making, there was a lot of like inconsistencies in their like story, a little like a lot of holes. But at the same time, it's like I can't really like throw that research or thought process out because like I said, my
Yeah.
story kind of sounded ridiculous. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is just like it's funny because when shadow people get mentioned, it's always this one. This solo one.
The Hat Man?
The Hat Man. Yes. Like of course there was like others, but the Hat Man is like the one that's commonly like known because he's commonly around because like let's be honest, like what VTuber in this world isn't sleep deprived? Like come on. Let's be honest.
I mean that is true, but that it's not just that, because there's also the Watchers, which is what I was thinking about doing for mine until you said you were going to do the Shadow People, and that's very similar. But the Watchers are found in the San Bernardino Mountains in Southern California, and they're very, very large. Like we're talking 50 to 100 feet tall shadows that you'll see in the mountains as you're driving through. So it's not just the Hat Man. And I have had 2 times where I've been driving that area at night when I used to live around there, that I did see a pair of giant shadows on the mountainside. Now, again, it's nighttime. You're going highway speeds, right? Is it possibly just a trick of your eyes? Maybe. It's possible. Right. Is it actually like a receiving tower? Maybe. And again, it's dark, so it's hard to tell. But there's evidence of that, not just in in the Hat Man.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, that could be true as well. Because you also gotta think about you're in the highway. You're not gonna pay attention to like the stuff around you. Not that far, like not to like the woods and that. Like, come on, you're driving. You shouldn't even be looking at the woods while you're driving. God forbid.
Things catch your eye though.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but like you also gotta keep in mind you're in the highway. You're not gonna look at it for like too long. You're probably gonna take a glance and then just go back with doing what you're doing. Of course,
there's a feeling that you get though, like it wasn't just like that was weird. It was like, whoa, wait, no, hold on. There was like that feeling of like, wait, something's not right.
Yeah, and I mean, it also makes sense because I mean you were in the right area to see exactly what people have also been reporting seeing.
And I didn't actually know about that until like after the second time when I mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing there, and I'm like, what?
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think I vaguely heard of the Watchers a while back, but yeah, I didn't know all that about them. That's really cool.
So because I think my mom also had like some experience with the walkers as well, but not in that area. So to give you context, I'm decently from Florida. Of course, a lot of people know this. And I basically drove to where I am, which is a very long drive. So in Kentucky, there's this mountain, right? You can take this mountain and you can get straight to where you want to go, just like that. Mm-hmm. But they also give you another context. My mom's very native, and she was like, I've been through that area like once, and I literally feel like I'm in danger or like something bad's going to happen. I'm never going to go in that area. And I looked at her because it caught my like interest, and I was like, hey, why not? She's like, I could have sworn I saw something, I heard something, I saw like something dark roaming like the woods. And I was like,
Mhm.
can you like specify? She's like, oh, she just like, cut it off. She didn't really like mention what was happening. All she said was she went straight for the car and she just left. She didn't care about taking a break anymore. And
Yeah.
me and my brother jokes around like, hey, we should go through that mountain. And she always gives us the look and shakes her head. And it's funny because she isn't a big believer in that type of thing, too. So like if someone like
Mhm.
her is saying it, it's like, bro, I don't think that's a good area.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that is entirely valid. Makes sense.
If you wanna take this one from here, Phil.
Sure. So, like I said, I was thinking about doing the Dark Watchers, but instead there's another guy in California known as the Fresno Night Crawler. I'm gonna post a picture in the chat so that if you wanna show it on your screen, I'm gonna bring it up on mine. I've got this little guy. You can see him. He's just a dude. It's just a dude.
I
It's a
love
little
it.
dude. So he was first spotted in Fresno. Back way not quite as far back as the Loveland frog,
Dude,
but his first spotting was in Fresno, all the way back in um sorry, I lost my thing. Back in 2007. The head leg. Exactly. This is the head leg guy.
they never skip
Um
leg day.
The guy got legs in spades.
he got legs to spare. So this was the one of the images captured. Has also been called the Carmel area creature, described as a thin, armless, pale white humanoid creature. And there have been ever since the first spotting in Fresno, Mr. Pants understood. I mean, yeah, there have been a few other sightings, actually, both in the U.S. and abroad, with no real explanation for what it is. It looks like a fucking goth.
It looked like a
No,
goth
he's
tree.
not.
It looks like a fucking golf team, bro. I'm dead.
Bro
It does.
points at it and just be like, that could have been anything.
It kind of looks like a wisdom tooth.
Kinda, yeah.
It
Yeah, actually,
kinda
it's a really good.
it kinda looks like a like small little worm going up like something. He's
Yeah. It's very much a head, the tiniest bit of body, and then he just got legs. So whatever he's got, it's all stored up in his head. So they they are small. They're about 1.5 meters tall. Which in feet, I'll be honest, I don't know. I think that's like 5-ish feet, maybe.
I mean,
Trying to think.
if you do like small estimate using like a ruler, you can probably figure it out, but like that's quite a lot of math to do at last second.
About 5
Yeah,
feet. Yeah, you're almost like spot on. It's like 4.92.
4 point.
yeah.
Bro,
So
you might as well
he's
round it. You might as well round it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to round my height, but I don't have that
I know
privilege.
measurements, okay? So yeah, it's not anything gigantic, just a small guy around 5 feet.
It's not like the myth
And
level, like the mist monsters, where that thing be like a Dark Souls boss.
exactly, or the Watchers, which are 50 to 100 feet. So this guy was just seen one night, just walking around the Fresno area.
just
It's
doing
no more a
doing.
dwarf though, Duke. It's not.
Bro, me and Phil is around the same height. You're attacking me too. Yes, friendly
I'm
fire.
not gonna lie though, like real quick, I do want to
Mhm.
touch on the fact you mentioned that this thing is about roughly 5 feet tall. We'll just say
Yeah.
5 feet. That's
Yeah.
honestly way bigger than I thought they were. I
Oh,
thought,
really?
yeah, no, I don't know what it was. Like this whole time I've known about Fresno nightcrawlers, I thought those little things were like probably like a foot tall, if that. I just imagined they were kind of tap dancing in your backyard or something.
Do they have like many feet, or is it just like, four?
No, it's just like no, they're bipedal, so they got 2 feet.
Okay. Because like you
So
said they're
the
stomping, and I'm here like picturing the stompers from like, Repo or whatever.
yeah, no, so the composition, the body composition, as far as believed for the Fresno Nightcrawler is that it's a head on a otherwise limbless torso and then legs, but it's mostly legs.
Just a head
It
leg.
is just a head leg. Yes. There's like a tiny little bit of torso, but it's mostly head, a little bit of body, and then legs. All the legs.
That just sounds like a super
Probably
tall
like
person.
probably like 1.3 meters of that is legs.
Bro.
I have arms. Excuse you, I have arms and I have giant ears. Thank you very much. So
Like is
there.
I can't read that. Hold on. Bro, I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh. Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Isn't that like the Miku? Like,
Yes, that's the
Yeah,
the
I've seen the
Miku with
thing.
only like Miku hair but with legs. That's literally what it is. Like, bro.
So again, this little guy, all we really know is that most of their height is being made up as legs, small upper body, and a head. We don't. It's most images captured by this have been like kind of this similar quality where it's like hard to know. They do describe the legs though as being very stilt like,
Ooh.
and there's been a few like accounts where they claim to see like more webbing along the legs, like that keep the like from the knee to the torso, like it's less like a solid leg, more like webbing. And it is tall and great, as you can see. It does. Well, it is. Well, sorry. Go ahead, Nietzsche.
I was gonna say the camera quality looks like someone that used like one of those like $2 cameras and like took a picture of something random that they thought was cool. I mean, the camera quality, it looks like the saturation was put up a little too high, but that's just me.
It is 2007, you know. We didn't exactly have the HD night vision splendor that we've got now, you know.
Man, they still
even,
bad.
even now,
They're still that bad.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting? What's even more interesting about the legs, since we're still talking about its appearance, is the knees don't bend forward like you would expect. The knees actually bend backwards.
Huh.
So you know when you lift up a knee and it like comes up to the front of you. Now imagine you went to bend your knee and instead it went backwards.
Bro,
I don't think that's digitigrade, but maybe it is.
The genetics didn't win. They...
That thing is amazing. I like that it has legs for days.
It never skipped leg day.
And so this image is actually just reverse joint. Okay, cool, thank you. This image is actually from a CCTV camera. So from a man named Jose in Fresno. So alas, Jose did not have the highest quality CCTV cameras, but that makes even more sense because CCTVs, you know.
I mean, they're always terrible.
Bro,
Like,
looked
have
like
you?
the penguin from Wallace and Gromit got nuked. That's
It's
bad.
it's true. And on the night of this capture, actually, Jose was alerted to something going on because his dogs were barking up a storm. So he saw this through the CCTV to try to like take a look at what was going on, and his brother went out there and claims that he saw small footprints in the ground. However, by the time like they called anyone to get out there, you know, it was already too late, and like it had been raining, so there was no sign of anything.
I mean, I would imagine not
The
wanting to walk out in rain at like that time of night. Like it's just common
well,
sense.
exactly, and like I said, this was seen in the Fresno area. It's also been seen in Yosemite, which is a national park in California, where other people have taken images of it. It was also found in Poland, and the most recent sighting that I've been able to find was from Billings, Montana. Again, on a
Billings,
home surveillance system. Yeah, in Montana. Back in 2020, 4/25/2020. Instagram validated the cheese drawer. Look, I'll stick to my own cheese drawer. Thanks.
Did just goes out in the rain. Where's that man's cheese drawer?
Where's the cheese?
I love cheese. One of the things to note is given the nature of this little guy, you know, it's been very easy to hoax, to make fake sightings of it. You know, take a pair of pants, stiff them up, put a little like pillow or like plushie or something on the top.
Platform boots.
So, exactly. This same thing with digital manipulation, because it's such a simple creature. It has been known to be faked pretty prolifically. However, the first initial sighting here from Fresno, as well as Yosemite, Billings, and Poland, have all been unable to be explained as being hoaxes.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Dude, I can't get enough of this little dude though.
Like,
I absolutely love
You
him.
never know. You might just come out one night and see him moseying across your lawn. What's he doing there? Who knows? Minding his own business, probably.
Bro's just looking for cheese. I just want my cheese.
I just want my cheese.
Cheese is so good.
So we've established that all three of these cryptids that we have found, they like cheese. You know, we know that.
I don't know about my one, but
Wait, yours doesn't like cheese?
I don't think it does.
Oh no.
They're just watching from the distance, menacingly. But to go off from there, that should be like all three of our topics, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, let me take this image off the wonderful screen. Now, for if all streams can hear me properly, this, like I said in the beginning, this is mostly going to be a short like podcast or whatever. We will go a little longer if we get like a little bit more research, or not research, a little bit more resources and such. And if everybody keeps asking for it, we will do more with special guests as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we're gonna, end extremely early because to begin with, I don't really stream Thursdays, but I do want to try to make like almost every Thursday, if not every other Thursday, a talk show like this, and I sure my two other wonderful buddies would agree to a degree.
Yeah, we definitely
No,
got to do it again really
absolutely.
soon.
Of course,
We'll keep you guys posted with like schedule and stuff, both on Discord as well as Twitter and Blue Sky.
and if y'all don't know where our Discord is, you do !Discord. It should be right there for those who want to
That
join.
is where I am too.
For those who want to join the
I forgot.
community and see all the wonderful VTubers and such there. A lot of us are good beans if y'all ever want to join and
All
see.
of us are.
And
Also, if you ever want to get a hold of me, you know, you could go over to my channel at Frog and Loathing, or I also have a Cash App you could go ahead and send money to if you really. No, I'm just kidding. But you could like send like smoke signals up in the air. Maybe I'll get them. You know?
just send like get a
With the
mousetrap and
sparkler
put
above your
cheese.
head.
Yeah.
Just get a mousetrap with cheese, and that should summon you.
Yeah. I just end up in
Okay,
the
well,
mousetrap.
Duke would also like to be a guest. So once we're looking for people to bring on, we got Duke down. So
Yeah, I'm down.
Like I said, we will still like getting resources, deciding stuff.
Yeah.
We
we'll keep you posted.
3 of us are gonna be like the 3 members of it, and we will probably go on Twitter or our Discord, being like, hey, you know, if we want like a special guest or anyone wants to join, it's an option.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, this episode was short due to, you know, this is our first time kind of doing it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of my wonderful friends here enjoys it quite as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, honestly. I liked learning about the two cryptids that you both talked about. That was really fun.
Yeah. We'll definitely make sure that we've got lots more coming soon.
And
So excited.
And so we're all gonna wonderfully head raid out. And we do highly appreciate. We will follow like our natural schedules based on our Twitter and Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And from here, we should be all good. Any comments or concerns?
No,
I think I'm good.
All right, so
You want to go raid Maeve?
Yep, we're about to go. Let me get their account open, so I can just copy and paste because I know I can't spell. I mean,
Calling in a raid strike on Maeve.
Calling a raid strike on our beloved friend.
There are 2 raid messages that we can use for a plushie raid. As we go head over there, I'll be back on Saturday with more Elden Ring.
And I will be tomorrow for whatever. Hold on, what I'm doing tomorrow. I forget my schedule so many times, guys. And I made it. It was Warframe.
Okay.
Yes, it was Warframe. I will be back tomorrow for Warframe. So let me send my raid message that everyone can use. I love each and every one of my pumpkin seeds, and I will see y'all next time. Bye bye.
See you all later. Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Boy.
I'm really sorry, guys.
Hold on, give it a second.